start with the obvious. We've been talking all season about Drew not getting any calls and then the frustration spilling over. He gets a clear non-call tonight. Look at the mark in his head. And it's natural for these frustrations to spill over.
Yeah, I'll give you the run by, right? So we send Tom out because we didn't know if he was bleeding and whatnot. And then Drew gets up and he's got the graze. And I'm like, okay. And Drew picked up 2 early ones in the first quarter. We kept him out there because he's so instrumental to what we do. I said to Drew, I was like, I know. And he's like, you don't know. And I'm like, all right. I said, let me burn this one because we've talked about this before. And there's one thing I want to be real clear in everything that I want to do is the fact that I'm trying to back the guys. And we talked about this a little bit in Illawarra. And I said, let me wear this one. And so I had to make sure I got it. But then it was like, bang, bang. I was like, okay, well, that's different. I'm walking away. So then I saw Drew in the corridor and I was like, all right, man, go get it done for us because I'm in the back room, but it doesn't really change anything. We shoot well. I think we're 3rd in the league for our effective field goal. We're number 1 in assist percentage. Our Achilles heel, right, is turnovers and offensive rebounds. And that's why, again, there's another game where, we shoot 16 shots less than the opposition. There's also a point where I feel like, maybe we should be shooting a few more foul shots, but what do you want me to do about it now, right? Here we are again.
Just on the ejection, it felt very similar to what happened with Gorge, where they are so quick with the back-to-backs. Did you feel like, you've had time to think about it, it was too quick that they were back-to-back?
I know exactly why they were back-to-back, but saying it doesn't do anything other than get me in trouble. But I know exactly why, who, where, I know. But saying it only gets me in trouble. It doesn't fix anything.
What was it like for the last 2.5 quarters sitting back here watching? I don't know if you were able to watch the game. What was it like being back in the locker room?
Well, there was a part too where, the boys again, they brought it back to a 4-point game and Will did a great job, and that's what I love about Will. He's in the back room now talking about, I should have called a timeout earlier. I should have done this. I should have done that. And I mean, for him, what a great opportunity as well for a growth moment for him to, he's going to be coaching New Zealand League in the off-season, Hawke's Bay, and so to get some reps up from the coaching side of things. But there was a timeout, right, where, I was watching it where he's got the whiteboard and all the guys are locked in. And this is, again, what I talk about with this group, we're down some dogs at the moment, right? Wardenberg's a big piece of that. We're missing Alex, we're missing Rain, but it's a good group and they're locked in and Will has the respect of the group and the guys got the respect of each other. We just need our margin of error is small. And so again, the turnovers, the offensive rebounds, they're costly. And they're the only things really that we can talk about.
Hey, Drew, how would you
Good seeing you too, Chris. I haven't seen you in ages.
How would you sum up your emotions right now?
I mean, I'm pretty calm. I think throughout the season, I've been talking to the refs a lot. Part of it's because I'm new, but I've played around. I've played in basically every league in the world. You know what I'm saying? So the only thing I ask for as a player is consistency on both ends, and that's what haven't figured out how to kind of gather here. I don't know. I heard this was a physical league when I got here. It seems to be physical. You know what I'm saying? So my frustrations just come from some of the fouls that I pick up versus some of the things that kind of happen to me, and I'm trying to distinguish where the line gets drawn. Even I want to say it was Melbourne, I believe. I got hit in the groin. They reviewed it, no call. And then the first half, my first foul on PJC, I felt like it was a pretty soft touch foul. So I'm still trying to gather how the game is being called. You know what I'm saying? There doesn't seem to be any consistency in how the game is being called.
I'll piggyback on the back of that, right? Because, again, I got to take foul, highlighting the hit in the groin in Melbourne, right? We have these conversations where they'll sit there and go, hey, you got to tell Drew he needs to adjust to this. But I'm like, well, I'm not going to, because when after this he plays in Europe or China, wherever else, he's going to go back to his career average of 6.5 three-throw attempts a game. So I'm not going to tell him to change what he's been doing for 14 plus years, including college. I'm not trying to make you old. Right?
Oh, dog.
But you got a career average of 6, and then when he goes and plays in these 3rd or 4th best leagues in the world, right, I'm not going to tell him to change what he's doing because he's going to get to the foul line there. So they asked me, what do you want me to do? I'm saying, okay, well, let me get a tech. Now I'm getting tossed out. So now I don't do that anymore. And so this is where we'll just have to, sit here and let the entertainment continue to roll through.
When you had a game 5 days ago where your opponent, your direct opponent had 18 foul shots in the same
Mhm.
game, and you have a similar game style to him. Forde's talked all season about how he's been told that you've been labelled a flopper, that's why you're not getting a lot of these calls.
Mhm.
I mean, that's never been your reputation anywhere else.
No, it's
Well,
not.
I mean, has
They-
it surprised you?
I mean, they told Forde they got
Yeah.
confirmation from Europe that was my reputation. I haven't heard that.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, if you look at my face, if you look at some of the games, like me and Forde kind of joke back and forth in text messages, like sending pictures back and forth. I have pictures of,
He's got black eyes.
certain
This is what I'm
things,
saying.
like
There's been black
getting
eyes.
black eyes.
Yeah.
And I understand it, like from the ref's point of view, even from like other players' point of view, from the coach's point of view, like it's a high emotional game. Like, and refs aren't perfect. To me, refs have the hardest job in basketball. You know what I'm saying? No matter what they call, they're going to get looked at like they're wrong. So I get it. And I get reffing a guy like me. I talk a lot. Like, the game of basketball is fun to me. I enjoy it a lot. So like during the whole game, I'm bantering with the players and with the refs. You know what I'm saying? Like, just joking, talking back and forth. For some, that might be a lot. But the consistency again and how you ref the game matters to me. And then when I don't feel like I'm getting that consistency on the other end, that's when my frustrations get kind of to a point where it's like, man, what are we doing? And that's probably what you guys see. That's what Coach Forde's, me and him been talking about. And again, from a tech standpoint, this is the most techs I've ever got in my career. You know what I'm saying? And all I'm looking for is consistency. That's all.
Forde, I know every coach calls Scott Butler throughout the weeks. Do you feel as though you're...
I've stopped. It does nothing. Like, and again, I back Drew. It's the hardest job in the world, and it's a one-man job in that position. Does nothing. All it does is gets me in trouble. And now you got some dude, and credit to him, he's posting the coaches challenge successful rates. Now that's become counterproductive because most coaches are unsuccessful now because it's a bad look. So, now the phone calls have stopped now. What's the point?
You don't feel like you've achieved any sort of positive outcomes from those sorts of
No.
conversations?
If anything, the other way. Really, right? If anything, the other way. Today was a message sent. Like, again, I get the first one and I walk and I get it straight away. I got my money's worth after it because I've got 2, so I'm going to get my money's worth on the way out. But, yeah, that's the first. And most amount of texts I've had all season. So, interesting.
Andrew, obviously, everyone can appreciate the frustration that you must be going through this season with those circumstances. Do you feel like, given the opportunity, you would give the NBL another shot? Do you feel like there are redeemable parts of it and redeemable parts of the officiating that makes you want to be part of this again?
I love the league. I love the play style. I love the teams, the competitiveness. I've really enjoyed my time here at Cairns, to be honest with you. So for sure, I would give the league the end of the shot. And that's what I'm saying. It's not nothing personal. We're playing a game. You know what I'm saying? And within that game, you just want consistency. After the game, I'm going to go home, chill, talk to my teammates, talk to my family, forget about the game. But inside those 40 minutes is where I want the consistency. But I'm not taking it personal and thinking the refs are just out to get me. You know what I'm saying? I just need some consistency in between the lines so I know how to play. You know what I'm saying?
Forde, what did you see from a basketball perspective? Obviously, they dominated the inside and then England did a really good job against you guys tonight. But what did you see out there that you saw you guys not be able to sort of retake a lead after they sort of jumped out to them?
Yeah, I blew 2 timeouts early in the first because we just made some poor mental decisions and they were costly, right? There were some errors that we made and then, we tidied it up and there were possessions, right, that we did a great job contesting mid-range shots that went in. Brockinson was really good and PJC was really, really good. But then there was also other possessions where there were virtually uncontested attempts at the rim. And the one-on-one battles, we Meninga was able to get a deep seal without maybe the proper fight to keep him off that position. So, there was a combination of that on the defensive end. And then again, the turnover, some of that decision making on the passing, especially when it tightens up. And, the second half of Brisbane, right, it started to show the moment Wardenberg goes down, you lose that dude that's just got that natural feel for the game. And so you sort of have to come back to a structured offense, which is what we've done. But, it tightens up, right? When Drew gets a certain amount of attention and then when Jack gets a certain amount of attention, we kind of need the ball to go somewhere else. I thought Marcus was able to get on the rim quite a bit. Thought we had some good looks to start the second half, which didn't drop. And then that also swings your confidence, right? They hit some tough middies to start the second half. We missed some wide open looks to start the second half. It blows out a little bit, and then we start forcing some bad actions, and then they're getting whatever they want, and it's sort of compounded that way. So that was pretty much it in a nutshell.
I'm under the impression you guys are staying here until
Yep.
next Thursday. So what went into that decision, and what's the plan for next week? I guess?
Yeah, I mean, because it's a long flight from Cairns. We come back to Perth again next month, and you've got to go via Brisbane, which is sort of down and backwards. So it's that quirky point of the schedule where you go, do you fly back to then fly back over again, knowing how taxing that is. A lot of the guys brought their families over, myself included. So we'll use the next 2 days just for them to be able to rest and get out and about. And the weather's nice here in Perth. And I may be biased, but it's the best beaches in the country. So you get out about and rest up. Then we'll get on court for 2 real good sessions. Knowing we're managing some guys at the moment because, again, Drew and Jack are playing some high minutes. So the flights are taxing. If we're flying to Brisbane, if we're flying to Melbourne, but it's not always guaranteed a direct flight to Perth. So we'll stay here, work on some stuff as a team, because then after Perth, we fly directly to Melbourne and play Southeast. So if you have as many flights as you do games, you want to try and minimise that as best you can.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it.